kick it off right now. All right. Hey there, guys. Welcome to Confessions of the Idiots. Everybody wants to confess, but not everyone wants to hear them. Today on the isolation tapes, I'm lucky enough to be joined in isolation by someone I am a massive fan of, the legend himself, the comic legend himself that is National Treasure, Dave Callan. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me, Samuel, and hello to those who are watching.
I didn't know that was you dipsing your lid just then. I thought you were telling me to keep going. Like, please. Stretch it out a little bit more. What else have you got to say?
I had a shower for this, Sam.
Did you? That's huge.
I don't know why I did that. I had a shower before my appearance, and then I was like, "Oh, why did I do that? You can't smell me through the internet."
No, but that would be a good feature. That's a new feature I'm working on at the moment.
Yeah, still at the Zoom. I love it.
If you had a perfume, so something by Dave Callan, what would the title be? Have you got one in mind?
It would probably be called "Eau de Man You Are."
Oh, the man you are.
For the man you are, and it smells like shit.
Mine would be Stank. Is this the first time that you Stank by Sammy P? Is this the first time that you've showered in isolation? You can tell me. I won't judge.
This was the first time in 9.5 weeks. Yes. Yeah.
Does it feel good, or does it feel weird to have that much water on you all of a sudden?
You know when you wash a dog and they lose their natural scent and they get annoyed about it. That's how I feel.
That's exactly.
I was developing quite a Paleolithic musk.
So how are you feeling in ISO at the moment, Mr. Callan? Because you are a very productive person. We're chatting off air, as they call it in the podcast world. I don't know if you've ever heard that before. But no, never. But what have you been doing to keep yourself entertained? Have you been watching everything right now? Yeah,
I finished Netflix the other day.
Great. How did it feel?
I clocked it.
You clocked it, finally.
Turns out Carol Baskin did everything.
Was she the big boss at the end? They had to fight?
She was the big boss at the end of Netflix. Carol comes in with her husband on a chain and a few tigers, and you gotta dispose of the Baskin.
Right, dispose of the Baskin. Yeah,
steal all her ice cream.
So you went for Tiger King first. Was that something that you thought you needed to watch?
So sometimes when something comes out and it has such a hype around it, I'm not watching that. You know?
Yeah, you go the opposite way.
I'm the original hipster.
The OG.
I don't watch popular things. It took me years to watch The Simpsons because it was just so popular right off the bat. I was like,
really? Well, it's taken 9.5 weeks for you to have a shower, so pretty cool. Yeah,
I know.
What about The Simpsons? Were you just like it was way too popular from the get-go?
Yeah, it was like back when it came out, I was a teenager, and it was just like fully every ad was for The Simpsons, and you know, everyone was talking about it, and I was like, no, I'm too cool for cool things. I'm above cool. So cool. I didn't watch it for years. Same with Tiger King, but when I got into it, holy heck.
Yeah.
Holy heck and mackerel.
Holy heck and mackerel. Is it one of your favorite shows of all time? Are you saying that? Are you putting it up there?
It's superbly badly made, like in terms of continuity and pacing and, you know, just making things clear. But at the same time, it's just compulsory car crash television. You can't look away, you know.
The people in it are amazing. Do you have any recommendations? Like, is that your favorite like docu-series of all time that you've watched?
I like anything Louis Theroux does. Mm-hmm. I find him very fascinating. So I like his series.
Yeah.
And I quite enjoyed Wild Wild Country.
Oh, that's great. It's really good.
Yeah.
Really good. Have you seen The Jinx as well? The Jinx is another one which I loved.
No.
The Jinx, well, maybe, I know that you probably won't get onto it for another few years because you will say, if I think it's good, you'll be all like, no thanks, gee, no thanks. But maybe ease up to it, baby doll, and maybe watch it sometime. It's a murder series. It's a true crime murder series. I'll send it to you. Maybe I'll send it to you. And everyone out there listening, maybe listen and watch it because it's a real good series about Robert Durst, one of the richest men in America, who they find out has been murdering people for a few years. It's really good. Yeah. And they follow him. They get access to follow him. It's a story no one ever wanted to tell, but it's told. It's really nice.
Did they know he was murdering people when they followed him?
It was a question. They were wondering what had happened in his life and what was going on. And a documentary maker got access to him, unlimited access to him, and it's really fascinating. And the last 5 minutes of TV is like one of the best 5 minutes of TV I've ever seen.
Goodness. All right.
Yeah.
So
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you after that. Well, Dave Callan, I have some wonderful good morning. Some wonderful online confessions so everyone can feel a little bit better about their own lives. And I know that you will delve out some amazing wisdom to these people because we have Monique and Tom that we're hearing from today, Dave. And I know you're a bit of would you describe yourself as a guru? How would you describe yourself?
I'm more of a Monique than a Tom.
Okay. Have you always been that way? You've always known that?
A little bit.
Okay.
I try to pass on wisdom that I've happened to encounter from people far more wise than me.
Sure.
But I like to listen to wise people. I think they're quite good sometimes.
Can be quite good sometimes. That's quite a wise thing to say. Wise people can be quite good sometimes. That's a kind of quote for sure. Well, let's go to the first one, Mr. Callan, that comes from Monique. Monique writes, so I met this great guy. Don't get too excited. All right.
Oh, why?
You excited?
I was. I did.
I know you're a Monique sort of guy.
I failed the first test. I got excited.
Well, she'll put you back in your place straight away. Don't get too excited. His name was Steve. And yes, we met on an app. You don't like Steve?
No, I've got a brother called Steve. The Steves are good. I was just being facetious. Is that the right word to use at that time? Probably not. We'll edit it.
We'll edit it. We'll edit it out. Yeah, we'll do a massive edit on this podcast. It's going to be 1 minute long. We'll fix it in post.
Yeah, make me smell slightly better.
Yep, in post. I'll do it. We had an ideal first date. What would be your ideal first date? What is your ideal first date, Mr. Callan?
Okay, cabbage, retro console, nipple cripples.
Are you meeting someone to do this? Are you just bringing cabbage to a bar, or is this an ISO date of cabbage and nipple cripples?
They're very good icebreakers with consent.
Nipple cripples?
No cabbage.
Okay, sure. Well, you just make a cabbage appear and then someone goes, oh, interesting that you bought a cabbage. Is that how the conversation usually starts? Or is it more like, why did you bring a cabbage, kind sir?
To be fair, Samuel, I have not entertained the notion before today.
Okay. I'll just move on then. That's your way of saying move on.
Maybe.
So, stretch it out, man. Stretch it out. We had an ideal first date. Drinks all on him, which is such a gentlemanly thing to do. And
it's a simp thing.
It's a simp thing. And cheese coming out my ears. Just lovely. So no cabbage on this date so far, Dave, but cheese. Cheese is good.
Okay, so they had cheese and he kept buying her drinks. Is that what's happening so far?
That's the ideal date in Monique's mind.
Okay, cheese is a lactose-based thing, so I'm thinking farts might be on the way in this story.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. What if I say it's a bit more than a fart, Mr. Callan? It's a bit more wet.
Oh dear.
Perhaps. I'm just saying perhaps at this point. I'm not saying it happens. Mayhaps.
That's why you should.
Did they really? I don't know. I love how you confirm something in the game. I don't know. I don't give a fuck.
Mayhaps they did, mayhaps they didn't.
Steve is just one example of a man you can take anywhere. Do you think he sounds like that?
Because he buys drinks and enjoys the finer dairy products in life.
Yeah, you can take him anywhere. Sure, whatever.
He's got culture, like actual literal culture and metaphoric.
Yeah.
Kind. Okay. Tell me more.
Well, kind, impatient, and humble. I think she meant to write patient, but she went for impatient.
Oh, that might be a typo. Okay.
It might be. I hope that she doesn't think the perfect person is incredibly impatient.
No.
So finish the drink. I've got to buy you another one, quick.
Yeah. I've been out with those people.
Now, one thing I haven't mentioned so far is very important to the storyline. What do you think it is, Dave? It leans in. What do you think it is at the moment? What do you think is
I reckon he's got a third arm growing out of his chest.
Sure. That's just like if I had $1 for every time I've met someone that had that. That's not exactly what happened, Dave. It's I'm lactose intolerant.
Right.
Right. So you know what's going to happen now. You know there's going to be a lot of the cheese is not going to mix well
No, with the basic gut health.
with the basic
No.
gut health. You know.
Yeah.
The problem with me is that I don't care about that. I always eat cheese and won't hold back no matter how much it pains me. Cheese is one thing that hurts me when I love it so much.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
We all know that feeling.
We all know that feeling. What's something that hurts you, Dave, that you love so much?
You, Samuel.
It always has been. We can't escape it.
Yeah. I know. We tried.
We tried.
But here we are back.
Here we are. It's hard to think about, really. I know I can be quite silly sometimes, but that's all I wanted in the moment. A nice night out with Steve and a bit of cheese and fine wine. You can't blame someone. So far, so good.
You can't blame. No.
You can't blame him. I remember I used to watch people eating cheese and wine in movies and thought that one day that would be me.
We all did.
We all did. Did you have a moment when you were watching a movie, Dave, and you thought, one day I'll be eating cheese and wine?
And no, I had a moment when I was watching Blade Runner thinking one day I'll be running through the streets of Neo Los Angeles in a raincoat being chased by Harrison Ford.
Has that happened yet?
Not
you can't
yet.
confirm it. Okay. You can be
Northern
secretive about it if you want. So,
maybe not. Doing it next time.
So we're having a great night, and then Steve invites me back to his place. What do you do at that point, Dave? Lovely Steve's invited you back to his place. What do you do? Do you make an excuse and go, or do you stick with it because you want to make Steve... You think Steve's a great guy, basically?
Yeah, that's a tricky one. I would at that point, I would go home.
You go home?
I'd be like, yeah, in comedy, leave them wanting more. I think it's been a great night so far.
Yep.
I would listen to my gut. If my gut's making rumbly noises, I'm going, okay, well, something's brewing down there and it's going to be a little bit toxic.
Sure.
So maybe I'll leave with a good impression at this point.
So you think leave before you shit yourself?
Yeah, always.
Do you usually try and do that, Dave? Is that...
I usually do.
Usually. Doesn't always work out, but I usually try to.
I would say 93% success rate.
That's pretty high. For just
it's an
you
A+.
not shitting yourself in public.
I have an A+ for not shitting myself in public. High distinction in it.
I've only seen you do it like 6 or 7 times. It's quite nice. Now,
out of 100.
Now, my stomach is rumbling, but I decided to say yes. A lot of things tell me that this was a wrong decision to make, but I can't.
Like the tummy was the main thing.
That was probably the main thing. Yeah. Maybe not the wine. We're getting quite hot and heavy back at his place, kissing and kissing like our lives depend on it. I'm kissing him. He's kissing me. It's quite nice, isn't it, Dave?
It is.
Wow. Have you done that before? Have you been kissed and kissed back?
I have kissed and kissed in return. Yes.
You looked fondly off into the distance just then.
It was tinged with some yearning for
to be kissed again. It could happen, Dave.
Yeah.
It could happen. You're a young buck. Don't worry about it. You're fine. You've got years of kissing ahead of you.
I remember though. Yeah, I remember when the world existed.
maybe after ISO we could kiss.
Wow, that's very generous.
Thank you so much.
To offer.
You don't have to say yes or no right now.
I'll put you down on my list.
Okay. Have you got a kiss list?
Your kiss is on my list. Your kiss is on the list of the best things in life.
That is
and who said those wise words? Daryl Hall and John Oates in 1983. Because your kiss is on my list. Because your kiss, I can't resist. Because your kiss is on my list of the best things in life.
That was actually perfect.
Can you just drop the synths and the drums in?
Yep, I'll do that. Yep.
Post.
Edit in post. I'll fix it in post. I don't want to be rude, but he's hard as a rock. And I'm teasing him as much as possible. Yeah. Escalated very quickly. Yeah. So they're back at her place. A lot of heavy petting, Dave Callan. I know you've been there.
Heavy petting.
Heavy petting.
And
what were you going to say? Sorry,
It resulted in a boner. It did.
Of course, a boner.
Let's be honest. Okay.
He suggests we should have a shower, and I just find the idea so appealing.
It is.
It is appealing. You were bragging about it just before. Always bragging about it. We get in.
So good.
And as much as we start kissing, there is something about the pressure of the water on my stomach that makes me do the single most embarrassing thing I've ever done.
She must be very tall.
She is.
Anyway, carry on.
She is. I'm going to shit myself, and I don't know a way out. What do you do in that situation, Dave? You're having a shower with lovely Steve. How do you excuse yourself to shit in private?
I think the time has come to get kinky with Steve, and put a blindfold on Steve in the shower.
That's very clever. Yeah.
Yes, or you could just like run away. You can always run away. Like she could just suddenly go grab her shit, towel off quick, jump in her clothes and bolt. And it builds intrigue, you see. It builds mystery.
Does it? Have you ever run off on someone on a date?
No, I'm usually a little bit. Yeah, I would usually declare my intention to abandon the ship.
Okay.
I think it's only fair. Otherwise, the poor person's sitting there for indefinitely, and not wondering, just not knowing.
So, on a date with you, Dave, you brought out the cabbage quite early, and then you're sitting there and you say, "Just so you know, at some point I'm going to leg it."
Yeah, but this cabbage will always be in your heart.
That's actually quite beautiful. Sure. You can put that on a waterfall poster as well. There is nowhere to distract Steve from what I'm about to do. I just had to grip my teeth and bear it. Yeah. I shit myself, and it is awful. Just everywhere.
In the shower?
In the shower. Just everywhere. Yeah. Just everywhere. It was a high-pressure hose, Dave, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We've all been there. Steve doesn't quite know what's going on for a bit, but then I can see his eyes completely change, and his face is one of pure horror. I literally jump out of the shower and run as fast as I can. So she does leg it in the end, Dave. Just a little bit too late. She should have...
Yeah, do the legging before the shitting. That's the rule.
Is that legging before shitting? Yeah, legging before shitting. That's the famous saying.
That's what my old grandpapa used to say back in the commode. Legging before shitting, son.
And as far as I can. Luckily make it home. And every day since then, Steve has been calling me. But I'm far too embarrassed to pick up the phone. It's a great sign. I'm far too embarrassed to tell him what happened. This is probably one of the most embarrassing dates you'll ever hear. I'm not going to pretend I did the right thing, but I don't know anybody. I don't want anybody to know about this ever. All right, so that comes from Monique. So she's saying she doesn't want Steve to know what really happened, but I'm pretty sure he knows what happened.
Well, look, if Steve is ringing every day, then either he's a keeper because he considers her to be a keeper despite what she done, or he's a weirdo who likes shower shits. So
how can you be sure? How can you tell?
Not to kink shame, but he might. And you might not be into that. Monique might not be able to recreate the feeling, although with enough cheese in the house, probably. Sure. But what was your question?
What do you do in this situation, Dave? What do you do? Do you pick up the phone? Does Monique pick up the phone and call Steve back?
I would say Steve, and just tell the story just as you have to me.
Yep. Exact wording of what I did.
Oh, give it an elevator pitch.
Sure.
Give it a quick wrote these notes version.
Sure. Yep.
And go, this is what happened. I've been too embarrassed to pick up the phone, but I can see that you're calling again. We had a great night up until that point, and so what do you have to say? And Steve can go, well, look, it happens. It's fine. And it could be a thing. Maybe she's throwing away a perfectly good thing. From the sounds of it, Steve's super keen, and that's a good thing. His buying temperature is hot.
Oh, yes.
Use a horrible sales term.
Always use sales terms when you're thinking about romance. I know that about you, Dave.
That's a feature of me. So I think that she should definitely talk to Steve. And, he sounds really understanding and compassionate and hard as a rock.
It's hard as a rock. It's a mark of a good person, though. If you shit yourself in the shower and someone's still willing to call you and want to go on a second date, that's quite a nice thing. That's quite romantic.
Yeah. Hey, if you shit in front of someone on a first date and they bail, or they make you bail, then it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah. You don't deserve me, my shit, myself. You don't deserve me at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you liquid shit down the drain of their shower and they stay with and they come back calling and stuff, it was meant to be.
It was meant to be. It's beautiful. If this was going to be a film, Dave Callan, if you could pitch this as a beautiful film, the romance between Monique and Steve, who are you pitching as Monique and who are you pitching as Steve for this wonderful film?
I'm seeing Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper.
Wow. It's a modern love story.
Am.
Okay. I don't think they could work together. Do you think they would be good together? Would there be any chemistry?
It could be a deleted scene from A Star Is Born. And they could sing Shallow during the shitting in the shower. In the shallow, shallow, low.
Because you think that's
something, girl.
So you don't.
Are you happy in this lactose world, or do you need more? Is my shower what shitting's for?
You just Weird Al the shit.
Sorry.
That was beautiful. So you don't think that's a whole film?
I've sung 2 songs, and I don't even
quite
sing.
Nice.
What up?
Wow.
What up?
You're being coy. You're being all coy. You actually sing heaps, and you're good at it.
I'm being quite coquettish.
Open up to it. You're actually quite good at it.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. Well, I've got one more confession for you, Mr. Callan, and it comes
that was it?
From top. No, I got one more confession.
But that was it for confession 1, obviously.
Yes. Well, I mean, you solved her problem, and then you sang a beautiful song.
Thank you. I feel like we've tied a bow on it, haven't we?
We've tied a bow on it, of course.
Yeah.
Why are you upset that we're moving on? Did you get too attached to Monique again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always do this.
You always do this. It's horrible. It's hard to move on with you. I have to hang up and call back.
I want to call Monique as well. Have you got Monique's number?
Yeah, I'll get it for you for sure.
Okay.
Confession 2 comes from Tom. Tom confesses. Oh. Yeah, you like Tom already? Or because you gravitated to Monique a little bit before.
I miss Monique a lot, actually. Now that we're being honest. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you miss about her? The shit?
No, the fact that she's like me, lactose intolerant, but mad for a bit of cheese. I'm the same.
You're a vegan man. Were you?
Well, yeah.
Did you always know that you were lactose intolerant? Like even before you were a vegan man?
Probably about the age of maybe 20. I was just going, so this cheese seems linked to my bodily functions altering somewhat. I won't go into detail.
Did you just stop? You can if you want. Did you just stop after that, or you had a lot of restraint for yourself, Dave?
I kind of eased. I weaned myself off, but I do still have every now and again. And I think it's kind of a gross industry the more I look into it. So I'm kind of glad I'm lactose intolerant.
It worked out.
Sometimes if you're at a party and there's like some nice, cheese and dips, I will have a bit of cheese.
How many parties have you been to?
Been to 7.
Do you mean you pay for it in bodily functions, or you actually give money at the party for the cheese? Because you don't have to do that. Do you know that?
What?
You don't have to pay people at parties for their snacks. Who told you that?
Oh, I thought it was like there was just no shopkeeper there.
Oh, you've done it again, Dave.
Oh, I thought there was no shopkeeper, and that's why I would leave my money in a neat pile.
Before your neat piles, of course. Let's go to this beautiful confession, Dave, from Tom.
Oh, Tom, yeah.
There are a lot of things you shouldn't do when you're working as a waiter. Do you agree with that, Dave?
I can think of a few off the top of my head.
What's one thing that you wouldn't do as a waiter?
Slap people's thighs.
Okay.
While they're laughing.
Sure.
The way when you laugh, you go, ha ha. You can't do that as a waiter. You can't, you think you're helping, but...
What's slapping someone's knees for them when they're laughing?
Yeah.
I really don't think you should do that.
No, that's one thing, definitely.
Is that a way into a conversation for you? Like if someone's laughing and slapping their knees, to get into a conversation, do you walk forward and slap their knees as well and laugh?
Sometimes.
Yeah, it's an icebreaker.
Another one is you shouldn't do the limbo under their table.
Right. They're two major
carrying
things.
A tray.
Right.
Carrying a tray of champagne.
To impress them. Champagnes. Yeah. I believe you pronounced that correctly.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do as a waiter. I've seen it all in my time. Things that would scare you so much that you'd never want to eat out again. I've done so much too as a gay man in my early 20s that would shock you to your very core. But I don't give a fuck about that. I'm fun. He says, he's fun. Sure. He's a fun guy. And I imagine that he is, Dave, to be honest. Hospitality people in their early 20s are often a lot of fun, if you know that.
Yes. This is, I think it's a stereotype, but I think there's definitely stereotypical smoke to that stereotypical fire.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? A lot of stereotypes thrown around here. No, you know. Anyway, you get it.
They are fun. I get it.
You get it. So there's a head chef that I work for, Elliot. Elliot is a lot of trouble too. He's married, Elliot, with a wife and kids. But
That's how. What we can. Yeah.
was that? You can tell that someone's trouble through that,
so
or that
Elliot's married with a wife and kids. So I'm just putting it together. Yeah. Carry on. Yeah.
He's not married to the kids. He's just married to the wife. I will stress that. Okay, just so you know, Dad. But I've always had the slight suspicion that he is in the closet, and very far in the closet too. You can't be much more in the closet than that. Maybe just
Narnia. Narnia is the furthest.
Narnia is the furthest. Yeah. Every night we share a few of the cheekiest glances back and forth you will ever see, and I flirt back if given any opportunity. I even elongate yes chef a bit and call him daddy when nobody else is around. That's very flirty, isn't it, Dave? Because I know that you call people daddy a bit.
What?
I've seen you do it. I've seen you call people daddy. I've seen that.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
I've seen you do it.
Okay, daddy-o.
Okay, daddy-o. I'm proud of my sexuality. I give zero fucks what anybody thinks, but there's something about Elliot that I genuinely like. He's a real bear of a man. He's at least 42, and I love that about him. It drives me crazy. So what do you do in that situation, Dave? You're in love with someone you work with, but you know that they've got a wife and kids. They're in a relationship. Do you leave it, Dave?
Yeah.
Or do you confess how you feel?
Well, look, I mean, it depends. I mean,
sure.
If he's going to break up a marriage just so he can fulfill a little flirty crush,
yeah,
I think that's probably ill-advised thing to do.
Yep.
Because that's people's happiness and there's kids, especially, running around. However, if this guy is not in a marriage that is working for him and he's thinking of leaving and he is trying to do the right thing by his wife and kids and returns the affection, then that might be a good thing to leave open. But you don't want to be the reason for somebody leaving their wife, especially if that reason is closeted different sexuality to the one you profess to have when you got married to that person.
Sure. But so it's also a big thing without a conversation, isn't it? It's also a big thing to just assume that that's what they want.
Well, look, a lot of talking needs to happen, and unfortunately, talking isn't all that really romantic.
No, well, there's glances to be had.
The glances are certainly romantic.
Yeah.
But I think in a situation like that, you just have to, I guess it's harmless enough flirting and just bide your time and be smart about it, and don't do anything that would be, contravene the sanctity of the relationship that already exists.
Of course. Yeah. So one night when I'm at work, I do my regular gear and make sure he knows that I'm interested in him. And so after an hour or so of this, we're in full service and I know how busy it can get. When we're in full swing, you can't do a whole lot, but I was making it very known what I was after. I would walk all the way behind the counter sometimes just to hang my docket up while I peered down at his dick. So that's how you know, Dave. That's how you know someone.
Why was his dick out while he was cooking?
I don't know. He doesn't go into that. But some chefs work in weird ways. Look at Heston. He's very different to a Jamie Oliver. And, and this guy, maybe he just likes to cook with his dick out, the naked chef.
I don't want to pass any judgment on someone else's process. Did he get 2 pieces of bread and put them between the outside of the penis either side and go, "What are you, penis? You're a penis sandwich."
That's how he talks. That's how he ramps himself up every day. He gets so excited about it. He revs himself up for that. Yeah. He smiled at me only a little, and I kept looking and going about my business. I was loving every second of the attention. At the end of the night, we're all packing down, and I caught his eye across the counter. I was emptying the red wine from the night into the sink and making sure he was watching me, as I did it in a very sexy manner. I imagine you would empty red wine in a very sexy manner, Mr. Callan.
I would. Yeah. I would,
empty it into your mouth.
My nasal passages and then glug, 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 glug. Yeah.
Glug, glug, glug. Just like that.
I would swish it.
Oh, would you? Would you spit it into a bucket or you would glug it down?
I would glug it down my gullet.
Your gullet. When everybody was out of the kitchen, I walked all the way around to him and kissed him.
Whereabouts? On the lips?
On the lips, Dave. On the lips.
Well,
very sexy.
It doesn't come much more declarative than that.
It
does
actually
really?
doesn't. It actually doesn't.
No.
We kissed for quite some time, but then stupid Becky walked in and ruined it all. So we don't know who Becky is at this point. We don't know who Becky is.
But we know she's stupid.
We know
that's all we know.
Yeah, she's stupid. She's definitely stupid. She walked quickly through, and Elliot told me that he would continue packing down, but kiss me on the forehead first. Now, did I mention that Elliot's wife works there too? So the head chef... No, he definitely didn't. And that's quite... He could have looked up and seen that he didn't write that. But he didn't write that before, that the head chef's wife also works there, Dave. So this has just got layers, hasn't it? So many layers.
Yeah, and I'm imagining Becky knows.
Becky knows, of course. We don't know who Becky is. He has not explained that, and he doesn't go on to explain who Becky is. But let's just say,
maybe she's a red herring.
Do you think so?
I think she might. Becky's a red herring, I think.
Okay.
Yes. Anyway.
Okay.
Right.
Well, she does the books, so is quite in there quite a bit. All right. So the wife does the books.
Oh yeah.
I was finishing up my shift when I saw Becky, and she told me that she saw everything. I told her to shut the fuck up. But she told me, shut the fuck up, stupid Becky. But she told me that if I didn't tell Elliot's wife, then she would. How crazy is that? I wanted to keep it my little secret and perhaps go even further with it. But Becky told me that's not right. Now I'm really confused on what I do. I hate it when families get involved when they shouldn't be in the first place. Feeling super stressed right now. All right, so that one comes from Tom, Mr. Callan. So that one comes from Tom. What do you think? What do you think that lovely Tom should do in this situation? Because he told Becky to shut the fuck up, but she's not going to. Stupid Becky's not going to shut the fuck up.
Do you know what? Honestly, I don't think Becky is all that stupid.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
I think Becky's quite. I think Becky's a decent human being.
You know a lot about Becky. Mm-hmm.
I know so much more about Becky than I thought. I think that he's. Obviously, Becky's given him an ultimatum and put him in a bit of a bind. I think that the thing I would do is just kind of go, all right, well, I need to stop this thing that I've been doing. But obviously, it's reciprocated. We can leave it for now and sort out the immediate problem and probably not pursue it unless the marriage was properly annulled or they were separated.
Sure.
I think.
You can take the proper precautions.
Everyone's different, but
of course,
I would approach Becky as Tom because that's who the person is.
Of course,
and say, Becky, I think this will actually do a lot of damage. It was just a quick kitchen moment and a little flirty kissy kiss.
Yeah.
I put some bread on his penis, but I was just pretending to be Gordon Ramsay at that point.
Sure, okay.
So that was just a little idiot sandwich joke I did with him. But anyway, I would say, look, it's going to hurt the wife. It may result in the breakdown of the marriage. There's kids. Can we leave it as a little kitchen flirty thing and maybe leave the wife out of it? And look, have a think. Let me know what you think. But it's just going to explode and be terrible. And you know what? I'm done with it. I'm not going to pursue it any further. You saw everything. I'm very conscious of the fact that he's married and I shouldn't have done it. Becky, and you're not stupid. I'm sorry I called you stupid. I'm sorry I said shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't be mean to Becky because Becky seems like she's, she wants what's best in this situation. Lovely Becky.
Yeah. At the same time, it's a really tough situation, but I'm just like feeling bad already because I think Becky's probably right in a way. I mean, they've gone beyond the boundaries and parameters of what would be expected in a normal relationship, vis-a-vis flirting with a coworker and
vis-a-vis, of course.
Becky thinks she deserves to know, but the kids are there. The marriage may not survive the allegation or the kind of the reveal of what's happened. So I would say that to Becky. I would say, look, let's do a strike, and I know I've done the wrong thing. I want to protect his family. I'm going to back off. You saw what you saw. That's where it ends. That's where it ends.
That's the final story. And it's not up to Becky, is it? It's not to Becky. And it's not, Tom needs to do what's right, Dave. And whatever that is, That's up to Tom, to do what's right. Becky's not going to go on tattletale.
Yeah, I think everyone needs to put their dicks away in the kitchen. I think
that's 100% true. If this was a film, Dave Callan, who would you get to play beautiful Tom, beautiful minor character of Becky, and then you've got the head chef? You can introduce other characters if you want. Yeah. But so Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper were the first. So who would you get to play? Who would you get to play Tom?
Okay, Tom is going to be played by the guy from Game of Thrones who got his pee cut off.
Okay, I don't know the name of that person, but sure. Yep. So
him.
That person. Yep, great. It's a good cast so far. Well, yep.
I think there was about 3 people who had that happen, but anyway,
one of them.
Anyway, yep. any role.
Yep. This is a good pitch. I hope you say it like this to the executives when you're pitching it.
Okay, and the head chef.
Yep.
Yeah. Is Aaron Eckhart.
Oh, that's an interesting choice. Okay, he's going to kind of bear up for it. He's going to have a big beard and.
Oh yeah, I suppose he would have to, wouldn't he? Yeah. He's a big bear of a man. Yeah. Oh, maybe. Okay.
You can stick with because he's a chameleon. He will change if you need him to.
Yeah.
Cool. Or Joaquin Phoenix could also be. Okay, and who are you saying is Becky? Becky who just walks in. Stupid Becky.
Yeah. Stupid Becky should definitely be played by
You thinking Kathy Bates or are you thinking younger? Who are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe Kathy might. Yeah, maybe I'm thinking around the Becky. I feel like 20s, 30s Becky, maybe.
Okay.
So I'm thinking maybe
like a Margot Robbie type.
No. No way.
Okay, no. Definitely not. No, it's not going to work. Not going to work.
No, Becky is played by Joan Rivers.
Okay, so this film was made before she passed away, or is it made now?
Yeah, it was made in the 70s.
Okay, so it's already been made.
Aaron Eckhart is a baby in this movie.
Okay.
This is taking a terrible turn.
It's interesting. It's an interesting choice, though.
Yes.
What about the person? I don't know how to pronounce her name, but the woman in Little Women and Lady Bird. I don't know how to say her name though. Ronan.
Saoirse Ronan. Yeah.
Yes.
The Irish actor. Yeah, she's great. Yeah,
she'd
definitely Saoirse. Yeah, she'd be perfect as Becky. Yeah.
So you reckon 100%. Becky should be 100% Becky? And are you committed 100%. To this film? Because it sounds like you're not that committed to it.
No,
because I think you would go for Monique's film first.
I want to change all my casting.
Even Monique's one.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I want to change the chefs. I want it to be Robert De Niro and Danny DeVito.
Right, both chefs. So we've got another chef. Just is there like a kooky offsider? Is Danny DeVito?
Yeah, definitely. It's you. You're gonna no. You have to be the kooky offsider. Oh, what about you and me? Let's cast you and me.
Okay, great. That'd be lovely. That'd be such a rom-com. Is it a rom-com or is it a horror? What sort of film? What sort of genre is it?
You, me, and Saoirse Ronan, and it's basically like a Reefer Madness style warning educational film.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think that's actually really nice. Dave Callan, at the end of that, if you had to hear from someone again and follow up for them and check in with what's going on with them, would you choose Monique or would you choose Tom to make sure they're doing okay?
Oh, Monique.
Yeah, for sure. You miss her, don't you?
Yeah. I miss her so much.
Yeah.
Like, she's just gone. Like, every day I just go, Monique.
Every day.
It's just Monique-less.
It's just
my
Monique-less.
Existence.
Yeah. Dave Callan, how do people find you? Because they can find you, Dave Callan Twit, on Twitter, of course.
Yeah. And I have a Facebook page or two.
Or two, yep.
And I have a account of Instagram.
Oh, and how what's the name of the Instagrams?
You can peep my Insta, and the comment section will be lit.
Lit AF?
I don't know what
is lit?
I don't know what that means. I don't speak millennial. What was the question?
How do people find you? Was the question?
Oh yeah, that's type in the words into the computer.
Oh, okay. Online?
Like my name.
All online?
Yeah. All online, yeah. Or you can
Yeah.
find me in real life if you're very, very clever.
Well, Dave Callan, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast in isolation.
Thank you for having me. It's always wonderful seeing your face.
Always a goddamn pleasure. Well, I hope to see you very soon once we're out of isolation, good sir.
We will hug.
We will hug. Maybe kiss, but we'll see how it goes.
In the shower while shitting.
Thank you so much, kind sir.